We discussed about tonsillectomy and adenoidectomy. Tonsillectomy indications. There are considerable difference of opinion, but the last few decades have witnessed a general change to more conservative attitude. Indications may be local, focal and general. Local indications: an attack of peritonsillar abscess in children and 2 attacks in adults. A repeated attack of acute tonsillitis. Each case must be judged in its own merit. Chronic tonsillitis. There are 3 cardinal signs of chronic tonsillitis, out of which if two signs are present, it may be considered as chronic tonsillitis. Those are congested anterior facial pillar. Cheesy material comes out from the crypts on pressing the anterior pillar with a spatula. Enlarged jugulodigastric lymph node. Carrier state, particularly of streptococci infection and diphtheria bacilli. Gross obstruction or mechanical obstruction to the breathing and swallowing, where conservative measures had failed. For avulsion of glossopharyngeal nerve and or removal of styloid process for neuralgia by the pharyngeal root. As a precautionary and diagnostic measure for any tonsil suspected of malignancy where simple biopsy is insufficient. As a preliminary stage to operation of cleft palate, sometimes. Focal indications. No universal agreement in this subject. These are persistent cervical adenitis, particularly tuberculous infection suspected clinically, a recurrent upper respiratory tract infection leading to otitis media, recurrent attacks of acute rheumatism if they are associated with attacks of tonsillitis, attacks of acute glomerulonephritis. General indication occur more commonly in children, and these are the most debatable indications. They include general debility, failure to gain weight and malaise. Contraindication: allergic rhinitis or asthma unless there is convincing evidence of true tonsillar infection. Bleeding disorders in epidemics should not be performed during epidemic of any infectious disease. Tonsillectomy is an elective operation, not an emergency operation, so during epidemics should not be performed. This applies particularly epidemics of poliomyelitis. Hemoglobin level is less than 10 milligram per cell. Techniques. There are various techniques for tonsillectomy. Dissection and snare method, widely accepted. Guillotine method. First method described for tonsillectomy is guillotine method. Nowadays, this method is obsolete. Electrocautery method, coagulation method, microdebrider method, harmonic scalpel method, laser ablation. We something tell about dissection method because this is widely accepted and widely practiced method. The tonsils are drawn medially towards the midline and an incision is given on the mucous membrane at between anterior pillar of tonsil and mucous membrane over the medial surface of the tonsil. The tonsil is exposed, the capsule. The upper pole is mobilized and tonsil then operated from fossa by blunt dissection. From above downwards, the tonsil thus freed is attached to the base of the tongue, that is lingual tonsil, by a pedicle which is crushed and cut by the help of tonsillar snare. Complications. Main complication is of tonsillectomy is hemorrhage, which is of primary type, reactionary type and secondary type. Otitis media, edema of the soft palate, cervical lymphadenitis, parapharyngeal abscess, septicemia, pneumonia or lung abscess, flare-up of distant infection, dental injury. Primary hemorrhage occurs during operation, so bleeding must be secured and operating field must be dried before the patient is shifted to the ward. Reactionary hemorrhage within 24 hours of operation causes failure to ligate all bleeding vessels, oozing from the vessels after relaxation of the stressed facial tissue on removal of mouth gag, failure of vessels to contract or retract after crushing and cutting. Next, rise of blood pressure during recovery phase of anesthesia. Next is slipping of ligature. In this, some contributory factors are also present. If active or recent acute infection occurred, fibrosis of the tonsillar capsule, hurried operation, use of sharp instrument, anoxia due to failure to maintain adequate airway. Treatment: removal of clot from the fossa must be attempted as first aid measures and swab held firmly against the fossa for several minutes. If it can be soaked with hydrogen peroxide solution. This method is often impossible in children and also not dependable. So then bleeding does not stop due to above measure. Ligature of the bleeding vessels should be performed under general anesthesia without delay. Blood transfusion if necessary. Secondary hemorrhage usually occurs between 3rd to 10 days of postoperative period. Cause: infection in the tonsillar fossa causes secondary hemorrhage after premature separation of the slough. Nature of bleeding: usually slight, rarely copious. Other features: postoperative pyrexia usually persists and acts as a warning. Treatment: usually stop spontaneously. Systemic antibiotics should be changed. Rest in bed. If not stopped by above measure, suture of fascial pillar is necessary. We pack the fossa with gauze and suture both anterior and posterior pillar for at least 24 hours. Other complications are otitis media. Deafness will suggest middle ear infection, but the ears must always be examined. Adenoidectomy. Indications: these are nasal obstruction, deafness, chronic otorrhea, recurrent otitis media, and sinusitis are the main indication for adenoidectomy if conservative methods have failed. Technique: by curettage. The adenoids are shaved off the roof and posterior wall of the nasopharynx by downwards sweep with the curette. Second method is by adenotome. Complications and sequelae. First is hemorrhage. It may be mainly primary and reactionary. Secondary hemorrhage are uncommon. Prevention: no operation in blood disorder, jaundice or acute infection. Hemorrhage less likely to occur if fulfill the followings. Curette are sharp, no tags are left behind. The operation is unhurried. A dry field should be must be confirmed before the patient is allowed to leave operating table. treatment post-nasal pack must be inserted without delay if in the general anesthesia. Blood transfusion if necessary. Acute otitis media. Third is recurrence is common sequel. It is either due to incomplete removal or inherent property for regrowth. This needs further removal of the adenoid. Chronic nasopharyngitis due to post-op fibrosis of the area. Next is granular pharyngitis and more marked lateral pharyngeal bands. Thank you.